Hello friends, this video on motion in a plane part 19 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos from part 1 to 18 before going ahead with part 19. Now we will study motion in a plane with constant acceleration. Here we will consider a body which starts moving at t is equal to 0. It moves till some time t is equal to say t. Initially its velocity is u and the final velocity is v. So these are certain assumptions which we have taken before we start. Now what would be the acceleration of the body when he moves from u to v? So the acceleration would be equal to change in velocity, that is v minus u, divided by the time taken. So time taken is t minus 0. So this is equal to v minus u by t. So we get v is equal to u plus at. So this equation is similar to what we studied in one-dimensional motion. Now we can write this equation in component form. That is, we can write down v in terms of its components. How do we write that? Vx is equal to ux plus axt. Similarly, vy is equal to uy plus ayt. So that means along x-axis and along y-axis, we can apply the equations independently. Now let us look at the displacement. So this is what we talked about acceleration. Now what about the displacement? Let us suppose the displacement at t is equal to 0 is equal to r0 and at t is equal to t is r. So initial displacement was r0 and displacement after time t is r. So we already know that displacement is equal to average velocity into time taken, right? So what is the displacement? In this journey, what would be the displacement? The displacement would be r minus r naught. So this will be equal to average velocity. So what would be the average velocity? If initial velocity is u, final velocity is v. So average velocity would be u plus v divided by 2, right? This into time taken, let us suppose t. So we get r minus r naught is equal to, we can write down v. What is v? v is equal to u plus at. So we can write it as u plus at divided by 2 into t. So we can write it as r minus r naught is equal to 2ut plus at square divided by 2. So this can be written as ut plus half at square. So we get r is equal to r naught plus ut plus half at square. So if you look at this equation also, this is quite similar to what we studied in one-dimension motion, which said s is equal to ut plus half at square. So here r is equal to, that is displacement after time t, is equal to the initial position plus ut plus half at square. Now we can write this also in component form. So if we want to write down the position also in component form, then what we can write? We know that r is the general way to denote position vector. So along x-axis it would be x and along y-axis it would be y. So we can write in x-axis it would be x is equal to x naught plus uxt plus half axt square. Similarly, along y-axis, it would be y is equal to y naught plus uyt plus half ayt square. So these are the two equations which will represent the motion in x and y axis respectively. So till now, what did we observe? We observed that the position of a particle can be expressed by equations along x-axis and y-axis. Similarly, the velocity of the particle can be represented along x-axis and y-axis independently. So in general, what do we conclude? We conclude that motion in a plane is equivalent to two separate and simultaneous one-dimensional motion with constant acceleration in two perpendicular directions. Now try to understand this statement very carefully. In this derivation, we observe that the relations which we observed for velocity as well as the relation which we observed for this displacement, they all are similar to the one-dimensional equation. The one-dimensional equation was V is equal to U plus AT, S is equal to UT plus half AT square, right? This was what we studied in one-dimensional motion. So even in two-dimensional motion, we see that along x-axis it is Vx is equal to Ux plus Axt. Along y-axis it is Vy is equal to Uy plus Ayt. So it seems as if there is a one-dimensional motion along x-axis, there is another one-dimensional motion along y-axis. So we say that we can consider that motion in a plane is equivalent to two separate and simultaneous one-dimensional motion with constant acceleration in two perpendicular directions, because we are considering here two acceleration. One is ax and one is ay. Ax and ay are the two accelerations in perpendicular directions, in two perpendicular directions. So one is along this direction, the other one is along this direction. So what we can say is motion in a plane is equivalent to two different motions in two different one-dimensional motion with constant acceleration in two perpendicular directions. So I hope that I am able to explain this to you clearly, that how can we relate a motion in a plane to one-dimensional motion as far as the equations are concerned. Now, if you have understood it clearly, on this particular topic, we will solve a few numericals. So let us look at the problem. The problem says a body travels with a velocity represented by the vector v is equal to ti plus 2 plus tj cap plus 1 minus tk cap, where t is the time. Describe the motion of the body. So how can we describe the motion of any body? If we know the velocity, the displacement, the acceleration, we can describe the motion of the body. Now, since we know velocity is given as ti cap plus 2 plus t j cap plus 1 minus t k cap. Now let us try to find out the acceleration. What would be acceleration? This is equal to dv by dt at any instant of time. So this will be equal to I cap plus j cap minus k cap. So this would be the value of acceleration at any instant of time. Now what do we see? We see that acceleration is independent of time. It does not depend on time. Therefore, we can say that acceleration is constant because it is not dependent on time. So it will have a constant value. So what is the constant value of acceleration? That means what is the magnitude? It will be 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, right? Because it will be root over ax square plus ay square plus az square. So this would be equal to root over 3 meter per second square. So that means this body is moving with a constant acceleration of root 3 meter per second square. In the given expression for v, if we put t is equal to 0 in first expression, let us suppose this is equation 1, then what will we get? If we put the value of t is equal to 0, we will get the value of initial velocity, that is u. So v will be u. So this will be the initial velocity and that will be equal to 2j cap plus k cap. So this will be the initial velocity. Now what will be the magnitude of initial velocity? This will be equal to root over 2 square plus 1 square. That is equal to root over 5 meter per second. Now we can describe the motion of this body. So we can say that the motion of the body is non-uniform. Motion is non-uniform. Why non-uniform motion? Because uniform motion is one where the velocity, when the body moves with uniform velocity, right? But in this case, we see that the body is moving with a constant acceleration. Therefore, the motion is non-uniform. Non-uniform means that velocity keeps changing with time. So that is a non-uniform motion. The body is in non-uniform motion with acceleration is equal to 3 meter per second square and initial velocity is equal to root over 5 meter per second. So that is how we are able to describe the motion of the body. That means it is a body which when started had a velocity of u. Then it reached a final point when its velocity was given by this expression. And in its entire journey, it moved with a constant acceleration a, which is given by root 3 meter per second square. Now let us go ahead and look at. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.